Hello everyone, Santa2, welcome to another Modpack overview, this time on Forge New Possibilities. A modpack that pretty much is loosely based on the ForgeCraft 1.14 season, by also adding in a few of its own, so picking what could be sort of found of mods that are available in that pack, and then adding in a few others that still sort of fit, and also add a bit more to it. So yeah. So you'll see a lot of familiar mods in this pack for the most part. So yeah, of the new additions added, you've got the Archer's Paradox mod, adding in additional arrows that are useful in different situations, such as teleporting shooter and target, creating an explosion on impact, dealing no damage because used for practice. Bouncing a number of times, improve flight when underwater, and so on. So that. You've got Biomes of Plenty, which adds in additional blocks, and saplings, and woods, and things you can build with, along with some boats and plant life, for either the overworld or nether. I'm pretty sure it has the nether ones in this version, I think. As far as I remember. You've got Splue Power, adding in additional enchantments, along with some gates, tools, other components. You've got canvas bags, you've got ores, you've got machines, such as a block breaker, alloy furnace, and a few other things, along with a project table, transposer, solar panel, and a few other things, lighting, gates in other forms, charging stations, something else. You've got building gadgets, adding in additional blocks, along with 2 gadgets that you can use for building or exchanging. There's obviously some paste containers as well, if you're wanting to use paste for building, templates, and a few other things. We've got capability proxy for adding in additional blocks to help with targeting a block and then building, I assume, in some ways. You've got Cobble for Days for adding in cobble generators. You've got Colossal Chests for adding in different components to make larger chest sizes that are actually block wide, rather than just a typical smaller chest that just fits one block and then just expands GUI-wise. You've got obviously components to expand chests to a larger size, and possibly also inventory size that you can fit things into, so yeah. You get compressed items for adding in compressed versions of things like iron nuggets, food, and so on. You've got Coral Tombstone for adding in additional enchantments, along with a few other bits and pieces, along with a gravestone as well, which you can either make or I assume get when you've taken damage. There's obviously a bunch of other things surrounding these. You've got Create, adding in different alloys as well as different components to then make certain contraptions. So you've got, say, water wheels, you've got mechanical bearings, you've got harvesters, you've got mechanical pistons, gearboxes, clutches, gear shifts, and more, along with additional blocks you find in the world or can build with. You've got energetic sheep, which have different amounts of power in different sheep, I guess, with also different wool types as well. So there's that. You've got Engineer's Decor, which adds in a bunch of different building blocks and a few other components like an electrical furnace, factory hopper, dropper, block placer, and more, along with tables and certain other things. In size, you've got Ensorcellation for adding in a ton of enchantments that can apply to pretty much anything, I think, including fishing rods, hoes, bows, crossbows, I think, and and other typical stuff like your regular tools and armor. So you've got a lot of options here for expanding some things like a hose tilling radius to giving a bit more to magic damage, I assume. Get increased damage while riding on a mount. Food is more nourishing, and a bunch of other bits and pieces. Got extended lights for adding in additional light options for builds, or just different lighting. You've got extra discs, which I think was also newly added for this version pack, which adds in additional disc sizes for refined storage, fluid and item block wise. You've got industrial foregoing for adding in farming or certain other bits and pieces with fluids and other things. So definitely useful in fuel, power, and farming, along with a bunch of upgrades, and definitely assisting with plants or I think mob farms also can be suitable as well. You've also got industrial foregoing tools, adding in a bunch of drills as well for different sizes of power consumption. You've got transport for adding in conveyor upgrades. That seems to be new to that. You've got iron chests for different chest sizes, along with upgrades. So compared to, say, colossal chests, where you'd be expanding with multiple blocks, you've just got the one block and then the expanded GUI size. And you've got iron shulker boxes, allowing for expanded sizes of shulker boxes and upgrades and so on. You've got mini coal for adding in miniaturized versions of coal. So if you want to have it where you smelt one thing at a time, then you can do that and break it down to 8 pieces where you can put it back together. So they can smelt one item at a time, whilst coal smelts 8 at a time. You've got mining gadgets, which adds obviously a mining tool, along with a bunch of upgrades for different benefits like battery, efficiency, fortune, magnet, void junk, range, and more. You've got mystical agriculture, which adds in additional seeds and resources and other things like accelerators to increase the plant's growth stages, and different furnaces that have different speed benefits, along with a bunch of other blocks and such. And you've got the essences, obviously, that you can get to then make certain resources after you've grown the seeds and crops, obviously. Then tools you can make certain things out of, or use a watering can to then help with growth in a 5x5 area, for example. So there's that. There's also tools and armor, a bunch of other augmentations I assume you can use with these, or the accelerators. We've got portality, which adds in a portal that you can use to teleport yourself from A to B, and different blocks to benefit for different modules and other purposes. We've got RF tools, which adds in a bunch of, let's see, you've got the base one, which adds in the ores and a few things like the machine infuser and builder, along with the wrenches. And you've got the builder one with different cards to expand on it. You've got power for power generation and other things. You've got utility for teleportation, dialing device, and a few other things. Screens and using modules for those. You've got redstone gauges and switches for adding in additional stuff here. So you've got connectors, you've got rotary levers and a few other things, along with certain other glass. Got refined storage, adding in different blocks for storing things such as fluids or blocks and items and such. And you've got different discs you can put stuff into the drive for, viewing your storage and so on, and crafting benefits. You've got Simply Tea, which adds in a bunch of tea options. Storage drawers for adding in obviously sort of barrel-like things where you can obviously put certain stuff in and it will store one of that type or two of that type or more, depending on which one you have. So good for certain NPT items or just anything you have, like you want to store a ton of cobble. You've got the one probe, which adds the display element on the left, as well as helmets. You've got Tinker's Mechworks, which adds in a bunch of drawbridge related stuff, along with other components and upgrades. And then we have Tubes Reloaded for filtering, piping, and certain other bits and pieces. Item transport. And then we have Water Can for adding in the water can tiers. And Yamda for its mining dimension. That's pretty much it. So a few new additions, as well as a lot of mostly the common stuff you'd expect in the pack at that time. So I think there's a few mentions of stuff. No, not with this version, mentioning what's actually included. Actually, no, there was. There was watering can there. There's our tool storage in that version. That in that version, the add-ons, mining gadgets in that version, and so on. So you can get an idea of when everything was added compared to sort of the core focuses of the pack. So yeah. Thanks so much for watching, and goodbye.